Okay. Exit solo layout. Mute. I don't know what that means. Okay. All right. So, hey guys, I was just over on my Strange Brew Reactions channel, just trying to live stream out over there. But I have maybe 400 over there subscriptions, so I wasn't expecting too much turnout, and just a friend of mine popped up to say hello for a minute. So I gave that a shot, but I'm up walking, going to be out walking for a little bit. Somebody actually stopped their car and drove next to me for a minute to see what I was up to, but it's kind of funny because, yeah, so if I'm a thief or something or up to no good, I would be out with I've got a big bright light shining in my face. So, yeah, I'd have that going if I was up to no good. So, let me get this adjusted. Just out for our evening walk, trying to do better, getting the eating in order. So not eating like a pig at this point, but oh, got somebody up. Just as I said, I was eating like a pig. Somebody pops up. That's perfect timing. But yeah, I'm out walking. Try to do this at night now. This is usually my time to clear my head, but I found this kind of therapeutic also. People up, talking to them and all that. So whoever you are, hello. And if you want to come up, I can send you a link if I know who you are. So maybe just say hello in the chat for a second if you're interested. But yeah, just out for a walk. Loaded up some videos for tomorrow. I have one coming up on this channel. It's Dylan from Noble Records did something pretty cool. I think he linked 20 albums. So you had 20 albums that were connected all the way through. So I got up to like 22. I was trying to be ambitious and I was going to do 100. I was like, I can do 100. It's not that easy. And to try to not cross over albums and try to keep the albums coming and not duplicate artists. And do you have it on album? I used a couple CDs in a couple spots, but it's pretty neat to link 22 albums together. And if you see the thumbnail that I put in there, it's pretty interesting. I start with Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual, and I linked it to Eric Clapton's Rainbow concert. So somehow I got those two linked with all the albums in between. So it's pretty cool. So that's the one that's coming up tomorrow on this channel. It's going to go out about noon Eastern time. Then I put one out on my Strange Brew Reactions channel. It's a walk and talk, but what I'm doing is I used to do the walk and talks on this channel, but I'm trying to get everything, all my material that has copyright claims on it off of this channel because I'm real close to monetizing. I just need to get some more view hours in. So I don't want that to complicate things. I don't know if they look at that because even though you reach like your goals, I've realized as far as getting the 1,000 subs, and then you have to have 4,000 viewing hours within, they keep track of it 365 days. So you can reach all your goals and they can invite you, but it seems like there's some fine lines in there where they could still deny you as far as turning into monetizing. So what I decided to do is just get anything off the channel that has copyrights on it. And so I pulled them all down for the channel, but every video I've ever made, I keep. So, hey Christian, what is up? How are you? I'm just rambling on about monetizing and all that. I don't know if you're interested in coming up. If you are, I'll just send you a link. But it seems like once you reach your goals in monetization, they can still deny you. And I guess there's a lot of craziness going on out there. It's hopefully YouTube is going to start listening. Rick Beato, which I don't know if you guys listen to him, he had a really good video. And he's talking about the same thing about these bands and like artists like Don Henley that they're just so against people using their music. And it's crazy. You would think, you would want to hear from your fans, and they're taking their time to create videos. And he made a good point too. Like some of these artists are becoming not obscure, but losing their popularity because the newer generation's coming in. They're listening to newer music, and the older stuff isn't being listened to as much. So in a way, we're helping is how he put it. You have to watch his video; it's really good. But if I was out there, and I mean, yeah, you got these bands that are way established, like the Stones or the Eagles or whatever these bands are, and maybe they want complete control over their stuff, you know. So I mean, they wrote it, it's up to them, I guess. But if I was a band out there struggling, I look at this as free advertising. People watch this; they go to this for information about bands, and most of the time we're excited. Well, I forgot to put Christians up there. So I said hello to you. And let's see, Gary did pop over. My one and only at the Strange Brew Reactions. I guess I'm keeping my 350 tonight. I'm going to have to figure out what the hell that means. What the hell is a 350? That had something to do with what we're talking about on the other channel. But yeah, so you would think these artists would be up for people being excited about their music. I mean, don't they already have like big egos anyway? So it's perfect. So why wouldn't they want people to make videos and promoting their music, saying, "Oh man, you got to listen to this"? Why is that a bad thing? And if we could play some of the music, that's what's going to get people entertained or brought in, right? So if we're talking about the music, it could be one thing. And if you have a streaming service, you go on and you listen to it. But if you hear, even I do a 6-second clip on most of my videos, and sometimes I try to find a good hook that I put in there, and people that might just touch somebody's ear and go, "Ooh, I got to really check the rest of that song out." Why is that a bad thing? So I haven't really heard but I think YouTube's a big problem too, though. A lot of it is they set the creators up for the kill in a lot of cases. I'm not able to come up with you right now. Well, that's cool. But if you do, change your mind, whatever, I'm here. Oh, there he is. David, you're on page to have content that won't be limited. I have a whole library of unique. Yeah, especially you. I mean, I'm a yeah, the knowledge you have. And David, if you want to come up, that's cool. I wanted to come up on yours the other night, but a lot of times that uh, I'm still dealing with the kids and all that, and I just don't come up live because it's like I know I'm going to get interrupted, and I don't want to mess up the stream and all that. So, or the flow, the conversation. So I always take in consideration, your channel, anybody's channel that invites me up. Glenn invited me up with Larry, the Canadian Stud Muffin, one of my favorites. And I just didn't go up because I was like, first I was going to eat dinner. And I guess that didn't matter because the kid they had up last night was eating spaghetti. So that didn't matter. But if I know I'm going to probably get interrupted, and once is okay, but I just know how the flow of my life goes. So I just won't go up. And I'm always like thrilled when people go, "Hey, come up," because I do all right in my videos, but I'm not exactly Mr. Excitement. I listen a lot, but I do like good conversation about music, and especially you, David. It's like I learn a lot from you. But yeah, Patreon. I know a lot of people are going over there. I think you have to build it up here to get over there. I don't know how you build it up on Patreon. To get a reputation. I don't know how big the vinyl world is in Patreon. Yeah, it looks like even Rachel's starting to dip her toes in that water a little bit, thinking about, actually, I think she did open a Patreon, right? And I think Chance is doing, he's got a great idea. He's going in full force because he's got some nice professional intros for his podcasts. Another thing, I was one of the first ones to jump out to him and say, "Hey, I want to get on board with you on the podcast." And but then I had to kind of back down because of my schedule. I'm running, I'm pretty much running 3 channels right now, and it's probably spreading myself thin. I built this one up where I wanted it, got the 1,000 subs. It was like a goal of mine. So I'm just putting, one video out a week on this channel. But I'm really trying to get my daughters built up, and then my reaction one is I'm really having fun with that one. So the reaction is I can do a lot of stuff with the reaction one. This one I like, and I can do without pressure because I just talk about music and whatever I know. you know, my albums, what did I just buy, whatever. But like the reaction one, I'm doing everything between watching movies to um, traffic. That one did pretty good. I put up a camera, iPhone camera, in my car and just kept it rolling. And I'm catching people running red lights. I'm catching people stop signs. You know, kids on bikes jumping out in traffic. It's insane. I'm like, well, probably every week or every 2 weeks I could do one of those, and people seem to be entertained by it. Um, but I also want to do the flip side of it. Yeah, we're showing a lot of the bad behavior in driving, but I want to show, you know, people actually letting people in traffic and all that. But unfortunately, that's very hard to find. It seems like anytime you put a blinker on, somebody speeds up so you can't get over. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, but as far as this channel, yeah. Oh, there he is. I know. Yep. I will get there. I still like the topic too. If we get to it, but yeah. No, it's just, yeah, telling everybody it's cool. You're putting some effort into that. I like that, you know, some big effort. Sometimes I wonder what, you know, when you sleep, because, you know, I know you're working full time and you're running your channel. I think you're doing about a video a week and really focusing on the podcast, and you're getting a lot of interviews in there. So I'm gonna say there's points where I'm like jealous. I'm like, man, this guy's got the time to really reach out. And I mean, think about this. You've been in there over a year now, year and a half probably coming up at this point, and you know, you've already been to Mazzy's house, you know, like an open invitation. Yeah, David, let me send you a link. I always forget how to do it on the phone. I'm out here on my iPhone. Do guests, invite guests, copy. Yeah, if you want to come up and talk about that Patreon thing, that'd be cool, or whatever. I don't even care. Okay, just looking. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit different when you're on your phone, but I usually figure it out. There we go. There we go. It's what time is it? 11:50. I'll probably be out another 20 minutes, half hour. Last time I was out here till 1 o'clock in the morning. I was beat the next day. So, oh, there you go. It popped up down there. There you are.
Hey,
I
John.
see you. Hey, how are you?
I'm hoping I can get the miles out of your exercise while you're doing it.
You know, this is insane. I'm out here walking. I'm like, can I start losing weight now? That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, every time I lose weight, I find it again. You know, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah. It finds me. It's always creeping around a corner.
yeah, no, it's a battle. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So
So
you were talking about the Patreon thing.
yeah, I've been, and it isn't really. I mean, it isn't the monetary side at all. Frankly, it's just the opportunity to maybe provide some special stuff for people. You know, I've
Yeah.
got a lot of unique mixes I've gotten over the years because I was in radio and I've known producers. So, and I have that stuff and I can't really do anything with it right now, short of putting it maybe on a Dropbox and letting somebody know about it. But so I just was trying to bring out some things that are a little different there. So yeah, I'm considering it, but it looks like is it seems like it's more work than maybe I want to put in right now too, because you got
Oh,
to kind of
really?
yeah. So I'm trying to gauge that. Been watching a lot of videos on people that did it and left and why they left and
Hmm.
that kind of thing and what it takes to get going. So because Michael Nolan just started, I noticed he has
Oh,
a
okay.
Patreon. He has a Patreon. So
Yeah, you got to build it up, I guess. I guess you can build. It's convincing people to go from something free and
yeah,
paying even 350 a month when Netflix is what, maybe $10,
yeah,
$11. Um, I know it can be done, but you see how much work it is just to get the subs here on YouTube and
oh
get a
yeah,
following and people interacting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and you're going to start all over again almost, I guess, to go over there.
Yeah. No, that's a consideration. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, and these, the subs come in spits and it's just kind of recently I got like 200 because of the Rhino release. I've gotten a
Okay.
lot of views on that new Rhino series. So that's helped a lot, but that's kind of catching a hot topic in the moment. That's kind of those kind of things.
Yeah. There's a
So
lot of people definitely talking about that. I'm looking at that Cars one. I'm like, that looks pretty good because I
oh
don't have
no,
too much
don't
Cars.
way too long.
No.
That's my
Oh, maybe I'm too
advice.
late. I'm already
No,
too
I don't
late.
think you're too late. I don't think you're too late. But I mean, let's put it this way: I've had 6,000 views, and there's only 5,000 records available. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that could be
so
a problem. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, Dave.
yeah. anytime you want
Yeah.
me to help you spend your money, just let me know, right?
Yeah,
But
that or get
but
me all hyped up and it's all sold out because you let the whole world know.
well, I probably will have a contest to give one away on my channel. I bought an extra one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you won't be. So yeah, a lot of times I'll buy two of something and then I'll see what I'm going to do on my channel with it. But yeah, I thought maybe if that one sells out, that would be a cool thing to give away.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be a nice gift.
Yeah.
Have you heard much about the Dylan one that's coming out tomorrow?
Mm-mm.
It's I guess it's a documentary that they filmed in 2021, and
Oh.
they took the all the audio from it, and it's going to come out on vinyl tomorrow.
Ah.
Glenn got a copy of it today. I heard one song off of it because he's saying, "Oh, how clear Dylan's voice is on that."
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to it, and when I was listening to this song, it reminded me of the old like '60s Dylan, that
Okay.
raw, not a lot of instrumentation in it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And his voice was aged obviously, but it sounded good, so it really drew me in. So
Well.
now I'm gonna have to get that one tomorrow. Have to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have very narrow Dylan likes. I guess I'll say my light's going off here. Um, and I guess I'm not a huge fan. It's just like I really loved Blood on the Tracks. I thought when it was
Okay.
75, I really
Yep.
loved that. Partly because of that hurricane story, the whole that whole
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, but then I got Desire. Actually, I got a quad
Hmm.
version of Desire, uh, and I've got like his greatest hits volume 1 and 2 and that kind of stuff. But I'm not a heavy Dylan because I mean his voice can get annoying to me.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess I've gotten used to those
It's an
quirky
acquired
voices.
taste, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
mean, the writing is yeah. I mean, the writing's one thing, but I mean, it's like think of Mr. Tambourine Man and how different it sounds between the Birds and him doing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Dylan would never have been on American Idol. I mean, that just wouldn't have happened.
yeah,
Or Tom Petty, or you think about all these voices. Even like a Tom Waits wouldn't have been on like
right,
won a popularity contest with his voice.
yeah,
But
no, and that's yeah, and some like like Dionne Warwick's voice is really nasally to me, for
mhm.
example. Her voice just never clicked for me, and it's just certain. But I mean, as far as Dylan's writing, I mean that's a whole different topic, right? I mean
Oh yeah,
that's a whole
yeah,
different thing.
yeah. Somebody was
he
saying the other day that. Oh, go ahead.
he's to me he's a word painter. He
Yes.
paints with words, and he brings mosaics kind of together. That's the way I see his writing,
Yes.
And when others do his stuff, it's usually pretty. The match is pretty good often. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I guess I'm just not a purist when it comes to that.
Yeah. I because I've written songs as a little hobby since I was like 17, and I always admired like artists like Dylan that could write and not go straight to the point. Like like
Yes,
you were saying, it's abstract. You have to. We're kind of going to skate around the edges a little bit and tell you a story. You know. And I always
yes.
was too direct in my songwriting, and I was like, man, I wish I could do that. But I think I don't know if it's something you can learn or if that's just something you're born with. You know.
I think a lot of it is that, and I write some stuff too. And what I have found is that I have to visualize it. When I try to just put it in words, it
Yeah.
gets too mechanical. You're trying to find a rhyme or you're trying to find, and as opposed to really trying to paint a picture of what it is I'm trying to say and then
Hmm.
deriving some words about that picture.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what a change I kind of had to make in my approach.
Yeah. I
Because,
like the,
it was like working for Hallmark. I was writing like I was working for
yeah,
Hallmark. It was like,
right. Very standard, like just, to the point, I'm going to make the next rhyme and that's it. Um, I like, even like Tom Petty, he wasn't, people say he's not the greatest lyricist, but he could tell a story, you
yeah,
know, he always had something that drew you into a song. And there was a story to it.
right,
Um,
right,
like,
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah,
when I'm able to do that as a songwriter, I'm like, ooh, I told a good story here.
yeah,
It's kind of neat. But
yeah,
you do want to write that music though, where it's like people are going, "What is this about?" And you're like, "Okay, cool, I did it."
yeah, right. No, exactly.
but
So,
but I
see,
mean, I guess Dylan could be direct too because when he wrote things like what was the assassination there of the one civil rights activist. Uh, he wrote a song about him because it was a pawn. Well, he called it a pawn in the
Malcolm
game.
X, Malcolm X.
Well, no, it wasn't Malcolm X. It was I can't think of his name. But he was a pawn in the game because he was even just talking about in that song about how the guy who shot him was set up basically by the government, not the government, but like local authority and racism and all that.
Hmm.
And he wasn't the brightest person. So he thought he was doing something for society by, was it
Right.
Edgar Mever?
Edgar
Edgar,
Mevers. Yes, that
yes.
was. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, that's. Yeah, yeah,
So still there, he was able to tell, still had a unique perspective of the situation. It wasn't
right.
just an anger song. He was saying, you have this dumb guy doing your work for you kind of thing.
Oh, it's kind of like an
So
Oswald kind of thing. Okay,
yeah, right.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I have no doubt
So,
about that.
and yeah, no kidding. And I admire that, when you can write like that and tell that story. Like Hurricane, like you said, I mean, how long is that song? He had so
Oh
much to
yeah,
say.
yeah, like 7 minutes. Eight. It's long.
And it's not, there's no like bridge chorus. It's like
Oh
straight
no, it's
through.
just it's a
Yeah.
story straight through. You're right.
Yeah. So
And
how
and
do you
and
do that?
and I never heard of this thing at all till he wrote that song. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, no.
So it brings visibility to things like that. So and I mean for me, it kind of restarted my interest in Dylan. You know, um, and
Oh,
I like
definitely.
because I think Desire came out after Blood on the Tracks, and so which I think is a one step I'm gonna get. I have to try to get one. I've heard it's one of the top ones, so I'm gonna probably have to. I've seen a few for sale lately, so
That's
may
the
have to get
Desire
that.
one you're talking about?
No, no, Blood on the
Oh,
Tracks.
Blood. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have yeah, I was, how did I come into Dylan? Because yeah, I was like you. It was like Neil Young. I couldn't get into those voices in
oh
the '80s,
no, yeah,
but
he's another
something
one.
clicked. Well, what clicked with me for Neil Young was that Freedom album he put in like in '89, and he
Mm,
had "Rockin' in the Free World." Um, he had two different versions of that, but that album somehow just brought me in,
mm,
and then I was done. Before that, I wouldn't touch them, but
yeah,
for some reason there was something about that album. And Dylan was the same. I knew, from my parents listening to it, but I got into the '80s Dylan first, Oh Mercy and things like that, and then it just drew me in. So yeah, it's interesting how you won't touch something one minute, the next thing you're way into it.
hey, look at Concert Buddy's comment there.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, thinking of
Attila.
picking up. Okay, $85. Okay, here's the thing about Attila. So,
The
do you know
Hun?
Attila?
The Hun?
No, it's Attila, Billy Joel's second band.
Oh,
Second successful band before he went solo. Yeah, if you're looking for, if you're a Billy Joel fan, I don't know, $85. I got a copy of it for 20, and it's decent. I guess it's up to you. It's Billy Joel taking a Hammond B and distorting the crap out of it, and it's only him and a drummer on the album. But he was trying to go into this Led Zeppelin phase, as Billy Joel.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you gotta hear it. There's stuff on YouTube. You gotta check it out. Songs like Wonder Woman, and it's just, as a fan, I dig it because I know it's Billy Joel. But if it was anybody else, I wouldn't buy it because
Yeah,
it's not good.
it's not good.
But it's entertaining. It's, I don't know. Like you hear, like, how do you
Yeah.
describe it? The music's,
Well, it's like the
it's not horrible.
Fagan Becker had an album before Steely Dan,
Uh huh.
and it's got a few songs that show you kind of where they could go,
Yeah.
but the others are just awful. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
So yeah. So Concert Buddy for $85, it better be in really good shape, and you're a big fan. I know you like some Billy Joel stuff. I would probably even question it for that. It would have to be like really good shape
I
for me
sold
to
on
get
my
it.
Billy Joel. I just got tired of his songs, and I thought any guy that can't hold on to Christy Brinkley, I don't want anything to do with him.
He freaking he cheated on Christy Brinkley.
I know.
Holy
Well,
crap!
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, it's like, how do you
Come
do
on.
that? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. How do you? Yeah. I mean, God. Ugh, I don't know. Just.
Well, he's just one of those. I know you're a Beatles guy.
Hmm.
Like, Billy Joel's like just in my blood. I mean, they'll never come out. That was one of the first people I latched onto when I was a kid. I heard like "You May Be Right" and the whole Glass Houses album, and
Well, yeah, and
I'm
the
done.
MTV thing. He was. That clicked him in too, at the time.
Yeah,
Matter
with
of
the
fact, Christy
videos.
Brinklin she was his uptown girl.
That
So
was the Uptown Girl. Yeah,
yeah.
and she was the redhead chick in the
Then she became
Cadillac.
the downtown girl.
Did
Okay.
Yeah.
He responded to you, by the way. Concert Buddy
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Thanks for, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
out
I know you're
walking. I'm more
walking.
like,
Yeah, I know you know. I know
you
you
can,
are.
yeah, you can keep tabs on it for me. Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. It's been there since March, according to the price sticker. First side, first one I've seen in a while. Yeah, you're not going to see it very often. It's VG plus all around with a
Try to
corner clip.
negotiate with the guy.
I would, because there's not a lot of people looking for that album,
Yeah.
so you should be able to really get that thing down. Um, I even found a Hassles, which is the group he was in before Attila, and it's funny because they were more like a 60s clean cut,
Mm, okay.
maybe the Hollies. Well, I guess they weren't. Trying to think like early 60s groups. So
Mm-hmm.
he kind of went for that sound, and then he went completely crazy on the Led Zeppelin sound. And
Wow.
next thing you know, he's putting out Cold Spring Harbor. So he's a chameleon. That's what I like about him. He'll, like, Big Shot. He wrote that with Mick Jagger in mind. And if you think about it, like, I could hear Mick Jagger singing that song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I liked about him. All his albums were different, but we won't go too much on Billy Joel because I know you're not a big Billy Joel guy.
Well, I mean, I followed him, and I had, I knew, his albums, and matter of fact, I should talk to you because I think I have a promo version of 52nd Street.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I think I
yeah,
have a white label of that,
oof,
and
yeah,
don't,
that
I
one.
don't have any interest in it, to be honest with you. So,
Oof. Yeah, there's a, I just liked them all the way through. Yeah, and I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, we didn't start the fire" and all that, but yeah, everybody's gonna have their corniness, I think, from time to time.
yeah, I mean,
But I
yeah, you
think
can't. Yeah,
I think he stopped at the right point, though. I think he did the right thing. I think he realized I'm not enjoying this anymore. Instead of doing like Elton John and continuing to do songs with Dua Lipa and all this stuff,
oh, I
he just,
know.
he realized this is it. And what's he doing? He's selling out Madison Square Garden. It's insane. So
Well,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Bruce is tripping up the stage.
Yeah, what happened there? I saw
I
like
don't
a
know. He thought he
headline.
was Joe Biden. I guess I don't know what he was doing. It's just,
Got confused there for a
thought
second.
he was president.
Yeah. Now, did you listen to the last Bruce album, the Soul one?
No, I'm not a
Okay.
Bruce.
Yeah.
I sold all my Bruce stuff.
Really?
Yep.
So what is your, okay, so I know you like Steely Dan, the Beatles. So what is,
Yeah, I like, Zeppelin. I like Pink Floyd. I mean, I like that 60s, 70s, 80s
yeah.
genre. But there are some, some things I kind of get burned out on, I guess.
Oh,
And
okay.
I look at it in my collection and I go, I'm not going to listen to that ever again. So I had some half speed, I had some stuff I wanted to buy. I said, well, I could sell these half speed masters and be able to buy, some other things. Somebody else could enjoy them. And then, so that was kind of where I was at.
Now, let me, well, Concert Buddy, if you do want to come up, let me know. Um, Now, is there anything you've gotten rid of that you now it's like, oh boy, should have gotten rid of that, or you're pretty
Mm-mm.
good,
I
like
honestly
you're
haven't.
just
I honestly hadn't had that experience.
okay.
Yeah.
That's it's that's what I'm sort of afraid of. But usually,
Yeah.
once you get rid of it, you don't want it.
Yeah, like I got Zeppelin, some OGs from UK back when I was getting them through a company called Gem Products that imported stuff, and I'll never sell those. I'll never sell those.
Right.
I've still got the sticker on the physical graffiti 998 for the UK OG. It's like
Wow.
$10.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean
Now,
I've never.
do you have all your stuff in Discogs or catalogs somehow?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I'm not going to
Okay.
say everything, but my main stuff, the main stuff that isn't in there is stuff that's newer that I just haven't cataloged yet. But
Yeah, I have a hard time, and maybe you have some knowledge I don't know about, but like I get an album and I look into Dead Wax and I try to really identify it. Like 20 things come up when I put in like either the Dead Wax code or something. I try to, or the what's the other code on there where it's like CL1039 or whatever. Is that the catalog number?
yeah, there's catalog numbers and
Yeah.
there's
So I
catalog
put those
numbers.
in.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's the dead wax is what has to take you that, and when you look at the photos that are with it,
Yes.
look at the picture of the label because the font can be different by different plants. And
Uh,
sometimes they don't tell you what plant it was made from, but the font that was used tells you that it matches.
wow.
So
Okay.
that's another trick I've used.
Yeah, it just seems like every time I go in there, I'm trying
Oh
to
yeah,
catalog one album, and I want it to be the album that I have because in that way I'll know what the value is.
yeah. And there's some that are in
Just
there multiple times. People, they're
yeah,
supposed to merge. They try to merge those, but
okay,
there are some that are. I mean, shit. Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. You go look up that company, and they have two different entries,
hmm,
and one of them has more records than the other, and some are, so it's kind of it's a user input database,
yeah,
and then it has to be micromanaged for things that are in conflict, and there's certain rules you're supposed to follow when you put stuff in or edit or release or whatever,
right.
you know so
Yeah, I wish in some cases they gave more info because some you pop up and it's just the track listing and that's it.
oh yeah,
And then some people get really descriptive and that's really helpful. It says it came with these two inserts. It has this, and they
yep,
have all the pictures in there, so those
yep,
are nice.
yep.
Um,
But
but
it's
it,
it's
yeah,
a, it's a, it's you got to realize Discogs is a, how to put it, their people aren't really doing any work. They
right,
just facilitate the platform.
yeah.
It's a user based source, data, so it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So when you go to do it, do you go for the dead wax number first when you do like the search? You do like the search
Yeah,
thing?
typically I do. Sometimes I can't read the dead wax all of it, and then
That's the problem.
I have to cross reference what I can read and look if there's something else that might match it.
Yeah.
So it gets to be a little tedious, especially if they've released a lot of versions of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And what really gets me is like when like you said, it's hard to read the dead wax. I'm in there and I have a light trying to get the right angle and looking. And next
Oh
thing I know,
yeah,
it's just the catalog number. I'm like, that's it? That's what you gave me as a catalog number and zero
and it
one
was
because
on
it's side
the
one?
label already. I could have read it
Yeah.
off of there.
I'm like, you know.
Well, the older they are, the less their info there is. That's generally
Okay.
the way it works. They've gotten
Well, that's
more
good to
like
know.
no mastering engineer initials really until the '80s, later '80s. I
Right.
think some of the early stuff, even Event MoFi, didn't have Stan Ricker's initials on it.
Okay.
That was a newer thing. You got
Yeah,
a
see,
couple. You
that's,
got it. Sam St. John put up
yeah, I
a.
saw him pop up. Okay,
Okay.
let's see. He was just up playing his guitar earlier. Don't you have neighborhood watch? That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing
No,
right
they're
now.
looking at you. No, he's talking about them seeing you, crazy man walking around
Oh,
with himself at midnight.
no, I am the neighborhood watch. I
Oh,
did have a
okay.
guy because I went on my other channel before this one, and somebody pulled up in the car next to me and gave me a good look. I'm like, dude, if I'm up to no good, am I going to be out here with a light, and
Yeah.
walking around with a camera? Maybe thieves are that dumb. Maybe they're out videotaping their antics these days. Who knows?
Just point
So,
the camera at them and say, "You want to be on CNN?" No problem.
yeah, there you go.
Get their
We're
attention.
live. Yeah,
we're live.
we're covering the Springsteen
We're
story right
live,
now.
and you're not. Stick them up.
Right. No kidding.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So it is unfortunate that there is, funny. I did just a real quick short on the Cars thing when I first got it that morning,
Hmm.
and I used a copy of one of their songs that another band did that was in. It was in the catalog from YouTube to use.
Okay.
So I used it, and it said copyright claimed by some countries.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll get that. Like most of the time, it's Russia, right? That gets
Yeah.
it's copyrighted or blocked in Russia or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's weird when you do that because I've done that before. I go into the YouTube thing right off of the shorts, checked it out, looks like it's
Hmm.
good. I'll go ahead and make a copy of it from my YouTube Music because it's easier for me. But you would think it's the same song, but then you'll get a copyright claim or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess if it's over the 6 seconds, you're still going to get it though.
Well,
Um,
I'm 15 seconds. So.
yeah, I do every video I do, and I pop in. I like to give people samples of songs. It's like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'd like to give them more to show them why I like this song so much. This hook that really just like is ear candy, But you have 6 seconds to do it unless you want to claim on everything that you do.
Well, that's where I'm thinking, I would, if I put a sample and then I could say, if you want to hear the whole thing, click here. And then it
Yeah,
would take them to my Patreon. If they were a member, they'd have a link to it. And if they weren't, they'd have a chance to join,
right.
and
And
kind of
then
create the connection.
right, and then like you were saying, to build the Patreon channel, I was thinking about what work these people put into these things too. So you have a video you put out that's already 20 minutes or something, but now you need to give them more. It's like, how do
Hmm.
you plan that? How do you give them all the
I
material?
just keep all my bloopers, and that's going to be what I use.
There you go. Yeah, year in bloopers. Here you
Yeah,
go.
right. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago when I started really recording a lot of videos, I caught myself saying the sound of Safe and Sound Texas again.
Uh,
And I hadn't said that in 6 months because I changed my channel name.
and Anesta's viewers probably heard you say it and just went right with it
Well,
because they're so used to hearing it.
I stopped
Oh,
it.
did you
That's a
edit it out?
That's a
Oh,
blooper.
okay.
That's a
There you
blooper.
go.
Because I say it and I go, shit, that's not the name.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm like, maybe if I cataloged every I put in a video, that would be pretty clearing my throat, doing all this stuff,
Yeah,
that I'm
really.
like, you don't notice it when you're filming, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, that's so annoying.
I
Why do
know.
I say so much?
Well, and I do, like when I transition from a thought to something else, I
Hmm.
usually say so, and
Yep.
I know, yep, and I catch my son. It's like, well, it, it's not like it's really, it has a reason, but it's just like, God, how many times are you going to say so?
Well, yeah, and I started saying so also. Maybe I got off of you. Maybe it's your
Yeah,
fault.
okay, it's my fault. Yeah, that's okay. I'll
So
take it.
that's see, there it goes. So that
Yeah, well, it is. It
so's come in.
is.
Yeah.
It is. But I also think you become much more analytical against yourself when you watch it.
Hmm. Yep.
That's the thing about it. Um, I don't, and it's funny, a lot of people, and I guess I would ask another person to judge this probably, but I went back and looked at my earlier videos or my first videos, and they don't seem that much different from what I'm doing now. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's like either I was not that bad at the beginning or I'm still not that good. I don't know
Yeah.
which it is.
Well, like you said, you have a radio background. You
Yeah, I
have
do.
that
That's true.
professional background. Now, us as if you look at my first video, yeah, it's like I don't want to look. It's horrible. It's wow. You're just like, hi, how are you? This is my album, and it's like it's so bad. But you have to keep it there because you want to go back and
Oh
see
yeah,
where you've
sure.
come from. And
Yeah.
there's times where you're either tired
Oh
or
yeah.
you're not feeling it, and you got kind of revert back to that, where you're just not thinking and it's just not clicking. So let's
Yeah.
see who's down here. Oh, Wyoming Dave.
Of course.
Let's get
Sam
him in here.
Sage.
How
There
are
he
you guys?
is.
Doing
How's it
good?
Hey,
going,
man.
Dave? How are you, buddy?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Oop.
Where'd you go,
All
John?
right. I hit the power button. I'll be right
Oh.
back. Here we go.
Ja-
At least it keeps me up there. Here we go.
He's in the dark.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is funny when you do that. But yeah, like I said, you have that. You're probably more used to that training and your vocal and
Yeah, and I do a lot of training and presentations, you know, in my work.
Okay.
So I'm used to being in front of a camera or a group. So that's not that foreign either.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. If you're comfortable speaking in front of like a large group or something like that, like I'm
yeah,
never.
I get talks at huge conferences, you know,
Yeah.
several thousand people. So I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that doesn't, and I'm in theater, so
Oh, okay.
I act. So I guess all that probably
Hey,
helps.
hey, John.
Hey,
Yeah.
John.
Hey, thanks for the whatever you said on my last video. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you're
There
doing
you
your
go.
thing. Everybody, I mean, we all do our thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
So Dave, what'd you think of that Quad Doors album?
It's a very good. It plays very good. It's a cool copy.
Different
Yeah.
different mixes, right? A little bit different.
Yes,
Some of them.
especially for the "Hello, I Love You."
Yeah,
Because I've heard
Yeah.
the radio version of that song a bunch of times.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks
That's
for that, yeah.
that's a really well done Quad album, and when you listen to it in 4-channel with the right equipment, it's amazing what they do with that album.
I bet it'd be cool to have for the 4 speakers. I'm sure
It is like Riders on the Storm is just like all around. You know, it's just like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
I say I gotta use the restroom before I listen to that, or I'll pee my pants. It's so realistic.
So with the quad, I guess,
Yeah.
so you have the option of 4 speakers, so you're getting a lot of, I guess you could overdo it. Like I think on
Oh,
quad
sure.
that Hendrix song would be cool. What was it, off of Axis, where it's going around?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
first song off of there, I forgot what the name was, but even in stereo, it's kind of cool sounding. So I can
Mhm.
imagine in quad, it's just zipping around you in a room, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Kinda
I don't
like
know if
all-
that one was released in quad, but yeah, that would be
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
idea. But you certainly get distinctive instruments, you know, instead of it being in 2 chambers, it can, you know, and I've
Yeah.
also got 5.1 SHCD and DVD audio and Blu-ray audio. I've got an Oppo player, and that's even another level of separation. But
I've
it's
heard about
weird.
this Blu-ray.
Yeah, sometimes it can be off-putting. In other words, like Toto 4, when you listen to like Africa, for example, some of the instruments are so segmented that they're just like the some of the percussion. It's like right rear, and it
Mhm.
just is too much because it's all by itself almost. You know what I meant? And your brain's it's not processing it kind of as part of the mix. It's kind of like over there by itself, and
Oh,
it gets a little. It can be distracting if it's not mixed well. So,
hello to
is
you,
that Pearl?
Hey,
Yeah.
man. Just-
the man that's been to a lot of concerts.
Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, I don't know if it was him or not that wrote the comment about the guy Frank that went off on the other day. On he was doing something on it wasn't on Rachel's show. It was the same time, and he was wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt or something. He's like, "No, don't be wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt when you act like that."
Keep it cool, man. You got the Zeppelin on. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. You give us
I'm
a
not.
bad
I'm not going to comment about that. I watched some of it on replay.
I didn't
Yeah.
see that, but I guess somebody got upset because they were streaming at the same time she was, and he wanted her to see what he was doing and stop her
So
show
I
or
think
something.
I think he maybe wanted her to,
Watch.
share his live stream on her show at he set a certain time, and I don't know why unless he had worked that out with her in advance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see that because obviously Michael 45 worked out what he was going to do in advance.
Mhm.
So but
Oh yeah, he came on
Yeah.
yesterday. Rachel's like, "Okay, all you guys out of here." I'm
Yeah.
like, "What is happening? Are we shutting down?" And all of a sudden, Michael pops up. I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's like a special news break. 45 will speak now. It's like,
But it's ironic though. We went from now that he's been on, it's like no talking about Michael or the OBC, and today most of the talk was about Michael.
yeah,
So it's I don't know if that's just because it was fresh, but
I don't know. I keep my mouth shut about a lot of it because I don't want to say something that'll hurt somebody's feelings on, unintentionally, or, there's
I
certain
hear you,
people that
John. Yeah.
you don't, that you don't, jive with, or they just seem to come across in a certain way. And maybe they're not like that at all. So I try to,
Mhm.
Oh, and
hold back.
that's just it. I mean, the thing I know I heard Wax say this several times. He said it again today. I think he's like, people that come up here, they're not the same people when they're away from here. And I'm thinking, well, that's not true for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Everybody. I try to be the same person. I don't have a shtick. I mean, I don't.
No,
Mazzy, I don't think has a shtick,
no,
unless he's
no.
picking on Chad, but that's different.
I mean, Waxed has the shtick, so maybe that's why he thinks everybody's like that.
That's
He,
right.
he has a, I mean, you can see the true who he is. He's a guy just having fun.
Yeah,
But the shtick that he does is something that's going to piss a lot of people off. If
it
they don't
can.
know who he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can't. It can't.
yeah.
But I
But
know away from the stream, emailing or whatever,
hmm
he's fine, and
yeah,
even when we've had a tussle or two, we've come back and kind of just talked it through a bit through email, and that's fine. I mean, sometimes people misunderstand other people,
hmm
and that happened with Rachel with me yesterday. So it's like,
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
oh my God.
You got.
Yeah, she went off. She just, whatever. I said something and
I
I don't
see
know
that.
what her perspective was of it, but but she apologized and all, and, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it was certainly something that, as I told her in an email, I said, look, I said, the problem I have is that sometimes I think people that say when someone else makes a statement, they think they're trying to be holier than thou.
hmm
Is that maybe more a reflection of the other person because they just jump to that conclusion?
Right.
That's
Right.
certainly, I was just, I was not. She was talking about Frank's condition, his, and I just didn't think that was appropriate to
I
do.
seen that on replay too.
Yeah, with over and over again, because I'm involved in safety, I'm involved in HIPAA laws, I'm involved, so I
Uh-huh.
kind of have maybe a higher sensibility about it, not a
hmm
holier than thou, but I know the law and I know all that, and so
Yeah.
I guess for me that's something that I have a higher sensitivity to, and
Yeah.
so that was why. And Michael had made the comment. The only thing he said, the worst thing one can do is talk about somebody else when they're not on screen.
hmm
And so that was why I typed the comment. I said, "You mean like talking about someone's mental health?"
Oh,
And
and she
and
went
and, and yeah,
nuts.
and yeah. And she said she thought I was being sanctimonious, but that wasn't. But you know how it is. There's a delay between him saying what he said, me typing
Yep.
it, her reading it, and
Yep.
and and she didn't honestly probably make that connection at all because there was probably a 30-second lag
hmm
in there. Um,
Yeah, I've had that happen. Because I went. I was trying to see what the fuss was about the rice patty thing, so I went over there and realized pretty quick that's not for me.
yeah,
But I made like joking around. I think, oh, because I was doing like a Frank Zappa bit. But he's in Japan or wherever he
he
is, and
is.
it's the
Yeah.
rice patties. So I made a joke and said, "Don't eat the yellow rice," instead of "You don't eat the yellow snow,"
Oh, Frank
and that's all
Zappa.
it was. And
Right.
they stopped the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you said that." I'm like, "Did I just cross a racial? Did I just do something
Well,
wrong?"
yellow can be Asian and yellow can be,
Maybe.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess I didn't put that together. So
No, no. I mean, and
yeah,
I don't think I get what you meant, but you
yeah,
you had in your mind the Zappa thing, but
yeah,
if let's say they didn't even know about it, they wouldn't have made that connection.
right,
So
yeah.
and
So I
yellow,
could see where
so
they.
yeah,
But it's weird though when they do stop everything and point their finger at you. Because Stunty did that to me one time when he jokes around, and we've kind of had a little joking around thing. But I guess it was right when his dad had passed away, so he's very
mm,
sensitive. And it wasn't anything about his dad, but I just made a comment to him. And he just went, "What? Bring up what John said. Let's." I'm like, "What the hell, man?"
oh,
And that one wasn't even that bad, but you kind of feel weird when that happens. It's like, I just want to be joking around in here, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So you
yeah,
have to be very careful before you hit that enter key,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly. Because
or put in nice emojis.
well, and the other thing is context is everything. you know, if you say it and the context of what you're meaning isn't in that
Mhm.
written statement, then
Right.
you've got to hope that they connect those same dots, you know, that you're
Right.
doing. Uh, and yeah, so yeah, but it's interesting in some ways, and it also can be just you know, a little bit more than you know, one has stomach for. Uh,
Yeah, you need a break every once. Sometimes it
yeah,
does get a little
yeah,
overwhelming, but overall, I like what she does. She helped me out a lot in the beginning.
yeah. Me
You
too.
you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the
No, yeah,
diversity. Yeah, everything that she's doing is so positive. But as a person, anything, too much of anything, you have to take a break from every once in a while. When it was getting really political, I had to kind of separate myself from it and go,
yeah.
okay,
Sure,
don't
sure.
don't go on first thing in the
Yeah,
morning
don't.
because
Yeah,
that's where
don't.
it is.
Yeah,
Pop in
yeah.
about 10:30 and everything's cool. She even tells you that, hey, you don't want to hear this rant part, come on about 10:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, we got Malaya up.
Hey, Malia, how you doing?
Malaya, I'm still walking around and I'm not armed still, so the neighborhood's still safe.
Still safe.
Yep.
Still safe. But there will be an officer following you soon, I'm sure. We've,
I'm
I
I
think,
think people are just used to it by now because I
oh,
do my walk and
probably,
talks. Yeah, they're
probably.
probably there's that nut again.
Yeah, say some.
But every time I hear a car, I'm like, oh, is that a cop?
You just woke up Malaya? Hey,
Probably getting off work. What is she doing here?
she just got off work.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just got off work. See, I know her
so
schedule.
she works the evening shift or the later day shift?
Yeah, I don't. I think she's maybe a time zone over. Where you're in
I'm in
Texas, so you're
Central.
what?
I'm in Central.
Malay's in
Okay,
near St. Louis, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
so that
Concert
puts you
appreciate
Buddy
it.
guys.
Land. She must be in Concert
Yeah,
Buddy Land.
so 11:30. So what's about 10:30 your time right now?
11. No, it's 11:30 here.
Oh, so you're only one time zone over. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You're Eastern, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm right lined up with Glenn and
In Florida.
Northern.
I,
Yeah,
I,
Rob.
when I lived in Ohio, we were on the far west edge of Ohio, at the farthest west area of Eastern time zone. And man, it would get like the sun would stay out in the summer until like 11:15 or 11:20 in the evening, because
Wow.
because we were that far, you know, away. You know, New York from New York, we were in the same time zone as New York, and we were, you know, in the Midwest. So
Yeah, that must have thrown off your sleeping because if it's not
yeah,
dark and wow, it's gonna be crazy.
yeah. Oh, she's
Yeah,
2 hours
Eastern,
from St. Louis. Okay.
Central Time Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so bad at it. Anybody tells me where they live, I'm like, I'll be right back. Google Maps. Okay, there
Oh
you
my
are. All right.
God. Wow. Oh, so she's 2 hours from St. Okay. Well, that can
Yeah,
be a lot of different directions, Malaya.
yeah. 2 hours which way?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm going to Branson in July, and that's like 3.5 hours from St. Louis.
Oh, very cool,
So
David. Cool.
yeah,
And you're obviously going to go to the big Austin show, right? I'm assuming the record show or no?
I'm planning on it, but you know, it's funny you bring that up, John, because tonight I went to go pick up my son at theater practice, and I was going to be in a show that was going to be in October, but it turns out it is in October, but it's actually the same exact days as the show. So
Oh, really?
now I got to make a decision. You know,
Be right back.
yeah, I got to make a decision about whether I want to be in that play or whether I want to be.
Yeah.
Any
So what
new
stuff we got?
records? Yeah,
Any new records?
Let's see. Did anything come in the
Hey,
mail?
John, I got you. This is the album you were talking about.
Yep. Yeah. What's the first song? Like EXP or
Uh,
something off of there?
yeah, it's that. Yeah, EXP is the first one on side
Okay.
one. Yeah, I got the original.
David got a new record.
I got
No,
a
no,
tall.
I got. Oh, go ahead,
he's-
David.
no, I'm saying I got a
I
new
We're
one.
having
I
a
got
got
this
battle.
album for
I
a
got
while.
the
I got this
tall.
album for a while.
Wow, that's an early one.
What is that?
That's that's that Hendrix, right?
It's the Steamboat label. Yeah,
Yeah, that's early.
Really? Oh, wow.
I've had this
Where are you
for
getting this?
a few years.
Yeah, where? Yeah,
Huh?
that's interesting.
I
It's
got that
interesting
at
some of the.
Rumsfeld.
Oh, yeah?
Yep,
Huh.
a few years ago.
Hmm.
Plays good. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
No, say that this is an interesting album. It's
What's
all
that first song?
instrumental,
Oh,
What
which
is
is
what's
it?
it?
kind of different.
Rock float.
Rock
Oh,
flute.
rock,
Yeah,
rock float.
rock flute. Yeah, it's interesting.
I know that.
Really,
band. Got some of the,
really good instrumentation. But if you like Tull because of Ian's voice or
Yeah.
writing, you're going to be disappointed.
I might dig it because of that flute playing though. That might be
is
kind of
good.
cool. Because I like that more. You know, I tolerate his singing, but I like that flute and the power
Yeah.
of that thing. And it's like this dude's playing a flute and it sounds like that, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen. I want to say I think I put on one of my videos like 12 times, and I mean, a lot of them I was really close to the stage, and
Mhm.
man, when he'd get out that flute, man, you'd get spit on literally. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah, I
would,
think you
it would
talked
be
about that.
flying. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
he was, but he. I don't mean this in a sick way, but he's a madman. I mean, he is so
Yeah.
intense. He is
He seems
so
like it.
intense when he plays. Oh my god.
Yeah, I saw one where he was on Howard Stern and he did a live thing, and I was like, and this is later. He's
Yeah.
what, maybe late 60s or
Yeah.
he's just killing it, you know. But he has that wild look in his eye.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a performer. He's
he is.
very
He absolutely.
theatrical. I mean, their music
Yeah,
is
he
sort of
is.
theatrical.
Well, yeah, passion
So,
play, right? Thick
yeah.
as a brick. Yeah, I mean, big concept albums.
Yeah. But
But that one's.
yeah, I
that
picked up
one's-
I grabbed the Nora Jones today too.
Oh,
That
did you?
Little Broken Hearts came out, so I was happy to get that one. And
Is
that come away with.
that actually is a new one?
Well, it's no, I mean that album
Oh, it's
came
a
out.
reissue? Okay.
Yeah, it's a reissue, but it's the first time I've seen it on vinyl.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's been released or not, but it's kind of like Beck. If you see any of his stuff pop up, you kind of grab it because it doesn't last long.
you talking about Jeff Beck?
No, just Beck.
Oh, Beck. Yeah, Beck Hansen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I started with him with the album with Loser on it. I forgot the name. Oh, Mellow Gold or whatever.
Oh, old. Yeah.
And I had that, and then he did 2 turntables and a microphone. I was like, wasn't really paying attention what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then
Odor
years
album.
later,
Odor.
yeah, then you start realizing, this is actually kind of good stuff here. I need to be paying more attention to it. In my opinion, because as an artist, he's always trying different things. It's kind of like the Beastie Boys in a little way. Those 2 albums that they did that are completely instrumental. Those are like jazz funk albums. I really like those.
I've heard about those. Never heard them.
Yeah, they're really. I was impressed. The In Sound from the Way Out or something like that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay.
so.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, nice stuff. Yeah. Oh, I did just get the Howlin' Wolf that came out on Record Store Day. I was looking for that. The
Oh,
Live
that's-
at Alice's or something.
Is that a yellow label, Dave?
Well, no, this came out in 1980, so it could be yellow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it could have been orange. Not even orange, I guess. It had to be that. Yeah.
Epic.
80s. Okay.
1980.
Yeah, it had to be blue then. Yeah.
And those
That
are
was
some of
Jeff.
the albums I got for 25 cents at a rummy sale a few weeks ago. I mean,
What was that, Jeff? I saw Jeff Beck. Oh, that's a great. I like that album.
that's
Yeah,
about closest I get to any punk rock music, I guess.
Yeah, but they were more. They had horns in there. They weren't just punk. They had a whole different thing kind of going on, in my opinion.
Well, if I ever found any of the Clash albums before this, I heard they were more punk. The ones
Yeah,
before this, Combat Rack.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are getting into the Joe Strummer stuff now. Oh yeah, we can't. Yeah, of course.
I got this from that same rummy sale, original Dark Side of the Moon.
Man, we don't find anything here in Florida. It's all Engelbert.
Oh my gosh.
It's-
Tom
it's
Jones,
so bad.
Engelbert,
Oh, Johnny Mathis,
Andy Williams, Barry
Yep.
Manilow,
Hey, don't knock Andy Williams.
Neil Diamond.
Rose. Oh, come on, early Neil. I'll stick up for, but after that, no.
No,
But
I
I do
just
like
mean
the-
there's a lot of used
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh.
I'm not.
Yeah, but it's what though it is a lot of Neil Diamond, but it's not the good stuff. It's like the horrible, like the
Okay.
Barbara Streisand stuff that he did.
Oh yeah. You know what's a really good recording is the Jazz Singer. The soundtrack.
I like it.
That's a great album.
That's still one
There's
of
a
my favorite albums.
there's a MoFi of that. I got to get that.
Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was it used to be in that when I used to use the term guilty pleasure, and I've stopped using it because there is no to me, there's no guilty pleasure. It's you like it or you don't, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't find a good copy of that though. I keep coming across
right.
it, and it's always scratched, or
You're right.
you know, just can't get a good copy.
You're right.
So I'm on a jazz singer hunt, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean,
Mixed.
when I saw him in concert, when he did America, I mean, they had players shooting up, and it was
Cool.
great, really, really impressive.
Yeah, he was. I remember in the '80s, everybody's like, "You going to Neil Diamond? You going to Neil
Yeah.
Diamond? You going to Neil Diamond?" It was like after Jazz Singer came out, he had a resurgence,
Oh yeah,
and it was my uncle was talking about it up in Virginia, and everybody had to go to Neil Diamond.
that was actually a good movie. Even I thought.
I've
Yeah.
never seen. I know
Yeah.
that movie. I've never
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah, no, it had really, and he did a good
Good
job
story.
as an actor.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and his father, the whole thing with his dad,
Yeah, it
Terry,
was great.
yeah,
It was great. I mean, I've got it on Laserdisc.
It's supposed to be sort of a remake of the
Laserdisc.
old
Here we
Alan
go.
Silverstein movie.
I
Not
think he
to
just
be
showed
conf-
one of those.
Not to be confused with Alex Dickey's CED from RCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I
Oh,
showed
man.
my Chicago 17, and it's
Yes.
it's a laser disc.
Look at this thing.
Oh, Laserdisc. I never.
How much
It's-
bigger is it than an album?
It's a 12 inch. It's a 12 inch.
It's
Exactly
a 12
like
inch.
an
Okay.
album.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it actually has the video. It has videos of the hits, and then it has the actual CD version of the album on here as well.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
on the 12 inch. Yeah, you know what I use? I've got an old laser that's messed up, and I use it. I put it on my turntable, and I use it to check my anti-skate
Ah, okay.
because I can just
That's
sit it on
interesting.
top of it, and then if it's not set right, it'll start moving in, or if it's too much,
Yeah.
it'll move out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night, Malaya. Thanks for popping
Thanks,
in.
Malaya. Take
Yeah,
it
Malaya.
easy, Malaya. Yeah,
She
I'm
put in
gonna
her
go.
hard work.
She did. She did. It's a tough day.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in the
Well, it
same
looks
boat.
like you're.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna head out. I'm gonna start. I got to start doing my video on the shootout of Crosby, Stills, Nash. and
Oh, I'm
Young.
looking. That's one of my favorite freaking albums. It took me so long to find a good copy of that, and it had
I
to be a
bet.
reissue because
Oh, I've
they
got a
played the
George.
crap out of those. Yeah.
I got a George Piros OG, and then the MoFi. So
Okay.
that'll be my shootout. So
So you still have to film that?
yes, yeah, it'll be
Okay.
out probably tomorrow night. So
Oh yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Okay, cool.
yeah. So
All right. Well, thank you for
all right,
coming up,
Yeah,
guys.
anytime.
I
Anytime.
appreciate
Take care,
it.
guys. Take it easy.
Yep.
Have a good weekend.
Yep.
See you. Bye bye.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Later, Zep Pearl. See you, Dave.
Are you signing off, John?